Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I am going to be talking about my most anticipated 2019 releases. So if you guys have been around here a little while, you will know that I don't focus on a lot of new releases. I do tend to pick up some throughout the year, but the ones that I anticipate are only books in series that I have already previously started and I'm awaiting more books coming out, or books by authors that I love. With debut authors or new books by authors that I haven't read from before, I do tend to wait a little bit, see how the hype is. Maybe I'll pick them up secondhand, maybe I'll wait until there's quite a few reviews out and then I will pick them up later. So I do only actually have 6 books to talk to you about today, as I am only mentioning books that currently have dates and covers. However, there are a couple of honourable mentions that may be coming out this year, but there's not a lot of information on them. Rosie's going to be joining us because she doesn't want to be on her own. So the first new release I'm really excited for in 2018 does actually break the rules that I just stated, and that is Slayer by Kiersten White. Now, I believe that this is already out in the US, but it has been pushed back to the 21st of February for the UK. I have yet to read a book by Kiersten White yet. I do own And I Darken, but have not got to it yet. However, I am a massive Buffy nerd. When I was a kid, I used to watch 2 episodes a night, and when I got to the end of season 7, I would just start again. So I am really hyped to read this. However, I'm worried how it's going to interfere with the canon, and that makes me a little nervous because I love the Buffy fandom so much. It could go either way with this. I could love it or I could hate it. Then we have Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, and the release date for this is the 26th of February. I have already pre-ordered this. I really love the Bond season by Samantha Shannon. However, Priory of the Orange Tree seems to be a high fantasy that follows 6 different women, whereas the Bond season is more of a dystopian science fiction, sort of George Orwell 1984 situation with psychics. So I'm interested to see how she writes in a fantasy setting, and I'm not gonna say like I expect this to be great. Like, I do expect it to be good, but as I haven't read a fantasy story from Samantha Shannon, I'm a little bit dubious at the moment. Then we have Broken Throne by Victoria Aveyard. The release date for this is the 7th of May, and this is a novella collection that follows the Red Queen series. I know this is supposed to be my most anticipated reads, and I keep saying really negative things or that I'm not sure about these books, but essentially this is a 400-page novella collection that comes after the last book in the Red Queen series, and I just kind of feel like it's unnecessary, and I would have preferred to have seen a new story from Victoria Aveyard this year. However, she did leave some of the character relationships hanging a little bit. There's a little bit that was left unresolved in Warstorm, a little bit that could be explored in more depth, and I am excited to see that. However, as you guys know, I don't love short fiction, so novella collections, short stories aren't my favourite, but I will definitely pick this up and I will probably enjoy it anyway. Then we have Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This is supposed to be released on the 4th of June, and this is Margaret Rogerson's second standalone fantasy book. The first one is a fae romance story, and I believe that this one follows a librarian and a sorcerer. I'm not really sure, but I did really enjoy Margaret Rogerson's first book, An Enchantment of Ravens, so I'm really excited to read this one. I find it really interesting that she does write standalone fantasy instead of series. It's nice to be able to just pick something up and complete it without being tied into like a massive series. As a fantasy reader, that doesn't happen very often. So after I enjoyed her first book a lot more than I expected, I'm highly anticipating her second book. Then we have The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kong. This is the second book in the Poppy War series. I have actually just finished the Poppy War. You guys won't have seen a wrap up or a vlog since I finished it. Oh shit, she got a nail stuck. Bye bye. But the Poppy War did follow a girl called Rin who goes to this military academy and then war breaks out. It is set in a fantasy world that's kind of based on China, and you also have like a fictional kind of Japan and a fictional Korea in there as well. Now this book, I didn't love the Poppy War. I don't think it was the best fantasy of 2018 like a lot of people said that it was. There were a lot of things that I did not like about it, but I found the plot really compelling and intriguing, and I'm definitely interested in continuing this series. So I will be reading The Dragon Republic. Whether I buy it or wait for my library to get it is another matter, but I am definitely going to be reading this one because I enjoyed the first one enough to continue. My final and most anticipated read of 2019 is going to be Dark Dawn by Jay Kristoff. This is the final book in the Nevernight Chronicle, and Nevernight was my favourite book of 2017. I absolutely love this series. As you guys know, I absolutely love Jay Kristoff. I've just been recently reading his Lotus War series and I love that as well. I am going to be starting a reread of the Nevernight series in anticipation for Dark Dawn to be released, so I'm all caught up and ready to go. As you guys know, Nevernight follows an assassin with some like shadow powers, and she seeks revenge on the people responsible for the death and imprisonment of her father and her mother respectively. I am so excited for this. This is like the one book that I'm like super hyped for this year, and you can bet that I've pre-ordered it already because Waterstone sold out of 3/4 of their stock in one day, so I have that one on pre-order. Now I do have two honourable mentions that do not have release dates, they don't have covers, they don't even have titles really at the minute. They are both by Sarah J Maas, and that is the first book in the new A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy. Should be out around May if she follows her like usual release schedule, and I believe that this is going to be following Nesta and Cassian. Not super excited for this, but it is Sarah J Maas and I'm sure she will find a way for me to like Nesta, even though that might be a little bit difficult. And the second one is Crescent City, which should be out around September, which is going to be her first book in a new adult fantasy series. There is no synopsis for this, there's no release date, there's no cover, there's absolutely nothing. But like I said, Sarah J Maas, I will buy it, I will read it, I will probably love it. And then of course there is also The World of Throne of Glass, which is like an encyclopedia of Aurelia, and I do believe that it's kind of set like 10 years after Throne of Glass ends, so I'm excited to see that aspect of it as well. As well as that, there is a lot of East Asian inspired fantasy coming out in 2019. I will be keeping an eye on that. However, I'm not going to buy them all, not going to read them all, but I am very excited, and I'm sure you will see me picking up a few of those throughout the year. But that is everything for my most anticipated releases of 2019. Please let me know if you are anticipating any of the ones that I mentioned, or let me know what your most anticipated release is. Please also don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish body butter and candle website, the Instagram for that, and a 10% off discount code. But that's it from me today. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.